Greetings, fifth grade, and welcome to another informational session about your science fair. You are almost done. Now, I understand some of you haven't even done your experiments yet. I get it, but this is just pressing on to try and continue business as usual with the science fair because some of you have put a lot of work into these experiments already. So I want to just continue on with what the next steps after you finish your experiment. So these are analyzing your results of your experiment, and you're going to bring it all together. This is due Monday, April 20th. All right. So you've done the topic, you've done the research, you've constructed a hypothesis, you've set up your procedures, you've done the experiment. Now it's time to analyze. Can I get a booyah? Awesome. I'm going to assume you just said that. All right. So we have a general write-up. All right. So in general, you're going to be writing up the results of your experiment. What happened? Okay. What did it look like? Just describe it in general terms. Based on the data collected, you should be able to tell me what worked, what didn't work, how it applied to your hypothesis, background facts, and whether you followed your procedures. Whoops. So what worked, what didn't work, how it applied to your hypothesis, background facts, and whether you followed your procedures. So you should be able to tell me all of that just based on your experiment. Hey, this worked. Hey, this didn't work. Hey, my hypothesis was completely correct. My hypothesis was totally wrong. All of my background research did nothing to help me whatsoever. All right, things like that. All right, so that would be in your general write-up. But you're like, oh no, Mr. Gracie, does that mean we're going to have to write in detail? Yes. Yes, it does. All right, but do not fear. Take the necessary steps, and you won't turn out like our dear friend SpongeBob, who seems to write and only gets one word. Look, so you guys would be writing so much. Some of these. Oh, he's almost there. Let's see how much we've done. And we've written one word. Whoops. Okay, so just follow these steps. You have the handout. Please be looking at the handout as well. The handout is going to help guide you along. I'm not just leaving you high and dry. The handout's going to help you a lot. So your hypothesis, okay? So 3 ways to approach this. Your experiment supported your hypothesis. You can say your experiment supported it. The results of your experiment supported it. It proved it correct. It had a lack of support, or it supported a little bit of it. So it either supported it fully, it didn't support it at all, or you kind of had an element in there that it kind of fit somewhere right in the middle. All right, so the characteristics I chose to use worked to solve my problem or question. So here was your hypothesis. If I put lemon juice on the apple slice, then it will not turn brown because the juice keeps the apple slice from reacting with the air. My experiment aligned with my hypothesis because I put the lemon juice on the apple slice, blah, 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 blah. This is where you go into detail about what worked and how you were so smart. Okay, so I predicted that this liquid would work on this plant the best, and guess what? It did. That's because you don't just say it did, I'm right because I'm super smart. You say it worked because of this. This is the reasoning why. All right, this is your lack of support. The characteristics I chose did not. So then here's your hypothesis again. If I put, I didn't end up using lemon juice because I am a forgetful person. No, you wouldn't say that. You would just say, lemon juice actually didn't work that well. Or I predicted coffee would grow plants best, but it was actually the orange juice. All right, whatever. All right, here's where you tell me what went wrong and why it did not align with your hypothesis. Why did coffee not grow the plant as well as lemon juice or something like that? All right, and uncertain. Some of the characteristics which I chose to use were helpful and some were not. Some of my apples turned brown and some did not. This is where you fall somewhere in the middle. Some parts of your experiment worked and others it's just like a free write. You just tell me why, all right? The hypothesis and analysis is just you really using your brain and thinking about why it went wrong or why it went against what you said. So, comparison to the background facts. Did your experimental results agree with what is known about the subject? Was anything new or different from the expected results found in your study? Whatever you say needs to relate back to your background research. All right, you guys are doing so great. I guess I'll get into the background research just a tad. You did all that research in the background. Did it match with stuff that people have already done? Did it match with, like, did heart rate go up when you were exercising? Did memory increase when you were using screen time? Things like that. All right. You have to make sure that I mean, did it go with the stuff that you said would happen, or did it go against it? It's okay if it went against it, because that's where you analyze and say why it went against it and why you think it went against it. Okay, so you guys are doing great so far. I know this is a lot of information, so here's a nice pun for you. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Yep, pretty funny. I know. All right, so importance of the experiment to mankind. I know this sounds really dramatic and intense, but these are experimental results can be important to you in case you found the best type of plant feeder, in case you found that, hey, screen time doesn't affect my multiplication tables as much as I thought it would. Things like that. All right. How would they be important to other people? Hey, if you exercise more, your heart rate goes up, which is really good for you, for your body. All right. Things like that. Important for the environment, important to your household, important to a parent, sibling, or relative, or important to general knowledge. And here's our general knowledge. All right. So, is it important for your environment and household? I mean, maybe you save money. Maybe you find out that it is cheaper to not use fertilizer on plants, and it would be better if you just poured your orange juice on it. I mean, who knows? All right. It depends on what you find. You can come up with a lot of different unique ways and things like that that can help your household. Then you check your procedures. This will have the most detail. Look at your procedures. Describe what you did during your experiment. How it went, what went wrong, what went right, what you had to change, what surprised you, what didn't, etc. All right? And stop looking at me like this. I know some of you are like, oh my goodness, when's he going to stop talking? All right? I know. We're almost done, but you check those procedures. All right? You look at those and see, you get into detail. Say, I ended up doing this. Well, this time when I made this bath bomb and I realized that I put too much of this ingredient in and it didn't work as well. It's okay. User error happens. Okay. Oh, I used 12 milligrams of water instead of 8 milligrams of water. Right? That would change stuff. Okay. So, excuse me, milliliters of water or 8 milliliters, not milligrams. Sorry, milliliters. So I used 8 milliliters or something like that. That's okay. User error. See, I just made a mistake too. It happens. All right. So explain what you did, what went wrong, what went right. All right. And then predicting future studies. Final component to that write-up. You'll write a short letter to the fourth graders detailing what you liked about it and what you didn't like about the project. Please don't say you hated all of it. All right. I get it. This is a weird format too. This is very strange. So it would be very interesting to see the types of letters that will show up for this particular section. So this will all, okay, or you will give them recommendations on how to conduct as well as you would change about what you would change about the experiment in case you're basically like quote unquote publishing your results. You're saying, hey, here you go, scientific community. This is my experiment. This is what I did. This is what went right, what went wrong. If you were to do it, I would recommend you try this instead of this, or I would recommend you are careful about this, or start growing your plants earlier, or things like that. All right. This is just your chance to be the expert and share with the future community. So you might be asking yourself, how in the world do I write all of this? Because it sounds overly complicated, but it's not. If you look at the handout, you'll see that it has all the components written down as well as bullet points for you, all right? I'm not just leaving you high and dry, all right? You have that handout, so please use that handout. You'll write that in, all right? You need a minimum of 4 sentences for each subject, but it will need to be typed. Now, you can handwrite it out, but then type it out. This is what's going to go onto that trifold once you print it out. Okay, don't worry too much about the trifold yet. Okay, this isn't due for another almost 3 weeks. Okay, maybe we'll know a little bit more about the trifold, whether we're going to get back to school and things like that, and hopefully you can go out and get a trifold then. All right, so don't panic too much. The trifold display will be explained what you need to do, how that needs to look, what things need to be set up, how it needs to be set up, and so on and so forth. Okay, it will need to be typed. All this stuff will need to be typed so it can go onto your poster. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me. Please email me. Let me know. Okay, let me know, please. All right, there's lots of questions that I'm sure you will have. I'm around. I'm available to answer them. Until then, stay safe, be healthy, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.